way back, let's go back decades, to children. You're the proud parent of 3 boys, middle school, elementary school. How much financial education are they getting in the classroom?
Not that much in the classroom. I wish they taught it more. So as a parent, I make sure that we do things for it. I think oftentimes as parents, we make a common mistake of, here's your allowance, spend the money, right? Here's what you do whatever you want. Instead, what I do with my children is I give them buckets, or we call our jars of money.
Okay.
So one jar is for short term. What are your short term goals? Long term goals, money you can put in your wallet, and then money you can invest. And we break it down evenly. So every time you get money, not just to spend it, but actually know what to do with it at that point.
It's so important, I think, to really talk to the little ones, because they're lucky to have a dad who works in this field. So many children don't have parents who were financially responsible themselves, and maybe don't feel capable to teach their little ones, because really kind of, once you're in your mid-30s, mid-40s and that big financial thing happens, you could argue you're kind of a little bit late to start learning.
You're behind the game. You're
Yeah.
definitely behind the 8 ball. So I think one thing we can do is always give fun, educational finance books towards our kids, which will help them along the way. And then on birthdays, instead of saying, hey, everybody bring presents, tell them, hey, put money towards their college fund.
Yeah.
And when they do that, have your child buy some stocks. Then you go open up a brokerage account and let them do that.
My 12-year-old asked me for crypto for his birthday, and I laughed in his face, but now I'm like, I should have let him experience it, because he asked for crypto back when it was super, super hot. And now that it's cooled off considerably, he would have felt that, but feeling it as a 12-year-old is different than feeling it as, let's say, a 45-year-old.
Correct. Because look at his time horizon. Most of us have our money that we invest until we're the age of 65. But he has the time horizon to go through these ups and downs, and he can learn why did it crash. So now the next time he can make a better investment or better choices at that time. And that's the great thing about learning earlier, is to give us so much run room to really understand money. A great thing when you look at Warren Buffett is they say 97% of his wealth came from after the age of 65. So that means he had this huge time horizon where he, in long-term period, where he just invest,
Yep.
and then it happened on the back end. But it took a lot of mistakes for that to happen in the beginning.
Wow. So, because you have a middle schooler, I'll share a story that I've said before, but it like shaped my financial life. When I was in middle school, my parents gave my sister and I a clothing allowance, right? They said $200, you can spend where you want, but that's it. After $200, the money ends. And I hated it, because all my friends, they're like went on shopping sprees with their parents, and that was not our story. I look back to that clothing allowance back when I was in Mendenhall in Livermore, and I think that really helped teach me. I can buy the $50 Guess jeans, or I can buy 3 pairs of jeans from Miller's Outpost. That's on me.
Right. And it happens all the time. I do the same thing for my son. So he's going to the store, we're going to Livermore outlets. He goes, I really want this thing, but if I get these pair of shoes, I guess I have no new clothes to wear for the school. So make sure our children be more conscious under the decisions that they make. I think what we have to do is give our kids more and more responsibility and allow them to make a mistake. I think oftentimes when it comes to my finance, we think that we should hold off from our kids doing it. What I tell often to my clients that have your children come to the meeting, let them hear about money, have them see the family budget, let them learn how, once you get their first job, open up a Roth IRA account. Also, make them pay a bill. It don't have to be a big spend bill like your mortgage, but maybe like my godfather used to do. He said, you pay the water bill, bring a case of water at home, so they have additional responsibility. So when you're out in the world, they know what they're doing with their money, instead of just thinking it's all about being consumerism, which our country's built on right now.
My neighbor, I love her. She gave her middle schooler a phone for the first time, and she said he has to pay $10 a month. It doesn't cover the whole phone bill, but he has to have that $10 a month buy-in, so he realizes this is a privilege, not a right, for that phone.
That's a great point that you're doing, a great idea. I think more and more of us should be thinking like that. I think we say, I don't want our kids to, I want them to save money. But if we're not teaching our kids to save and holding their hand through the way, they're going to do what our country wants them to do, which is spend money, because people forget consumerism about 68 to 69% of the American economy. So our country is designed for you to spend.
Buy.
And we need to teach our kids to be counterproductive on what our country wants them to do, and do the right thing for themselves.
I got it. Look, it is a small part of a long conversation. I'm glad to have you back, and I know we'll see each other soon.
Definitely. Thank you again.
Okay, Jason Matthews, President and CEO of Matthews Financial here in Oakland. Coming up on the 9, Ticketmaster in the hot seat after a concert ticket chaos unfolded late last year. Why some say Taylor Swift's most ardent fans aren't the ones at fault.